IPOB is attacking the police, is attacking the army, is attacking INEC, government institutions, kill our men in service. And the herdsmen are kidnapping children, not kill them, to get money. So how can you compare somebody who's killing our gallant men in the armed forces directly, attacking them, to somebody who's kidnapping children to make money, not to kill them? Look, we need some fairness in what we are doing.
Yeah, Sheikh. So let's be clear on who you're talking with. On one hand, are you talking about bandits here, or you're talking about this evil ideological terrorists? So that we are clear on who you're saying we should have a conversation with, because there's clearly people we cannot have a conversation with.
You as a journalist, you must have heard these groups. If you have been following this, the Fulani herdsmen have been calling for peace, and when you call them for peace, they come. They come with their guns because for many reasons. But they come for peace. Can you call IPOB for peace? Can you call Boko Haram? Boko Haram, I think the former president has called them for peace and they came, but when they didn't materialize, now it's difficult to call them to peace. So anybody who inclined to peace, I'm with him. Anybody who inclines, I'm telling you, Nnamdi kanu now, if he inclines to stop the agitation, the violent agitations and killing of people, and he says he's going to pursue whatever dream he has peacefully, I will be in the forefront trying to see that this man is released, because I should be given an amnesty for despite the offenses and atrocities he has committed. When you say there's a Christian genocide, and a genocide directed specifically because somebody is professing Christianity, there is none in Nigeria. There is none.
There is, Sheikh Gumi, there is.
My knowledge, as far as I know, there is none.
There is.
So you cannot force somebody to do something.
Yes, I will not force you to accept it, but I will not dismiss and silence the voice of those who say that is their reality.
Sambo.
I am Gloria Samuel.
My name is Balaraba Ibrahim. I definitely have a daughter in this Federal Government Girls College, Zaria.
I am a matron here.
Yeah, I have my daughter is schooling here in FGC.
The reason for picking students this morning is due to the insecurity in the country. That's what we learned as at, I think, around 7:30 last night in the night.
And unfortunately, Malam Hudu, a teacher here of English, was a colleague and a friend of mine. He just called my phone to tell me that I should come and pick my girl because of insecurity. So that is what actually brought me here.
Sort of informed by the school yesterday that we should go and pick the children this morning for security reason, which I understand actually, because as a parent you can imagine our distress. And part of the circular says, we don't want only if. So it's a painful measure, but I think it is. What can one do?
We are saying of this insecurity in the country. And definitely in the media we heard that something like this happened in Benin Kebbi, Niger State, and this of Para State.
We are going home now. I'm taking my back home. Better safe than sorry. She has to be alive and around to take the exam. So
They are starting exam this Monday. We don't have option. The school have no option. The ministry have no option. They have to let children go for their safety. Their life is important than their education as far as now is concerned.
We are now in Abia State. Hope we are welcomed.
I am a member of the APC, ruling APC in Nigeria. I am also a member, by extension, of the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. A member of this great parliament also, which has the APC as a dominant factor. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I have to say so because I will be speaking here today as a member of the APC, not of particular concern, but with a particular concern. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that in virtually all of our constituencies, given the opportunity, everyone here can rise to tell you the account of what is happening. Mr. Speaker, it is not religious. Mr. Speaker, it is not even political. This fight and this menace of insecurity in Nigeria is something that does not have any identification of one's party or one's religion or one's tribe whatsoever. It is a calculated attempt to demoralize Nigerian state. And if care is not taken, Mr. Speaker, even for those of us who take politics more seriously, we'll have a very big question to answer at the end, because it is like this unnecessary insecurity going on. This is a high level of conspiracy targeting our political processes. As we are approaching 2027, Mr. Speaker, we will all be expected to have a peaceful conduct of our polls. How do you have that if our communities, local communities, are plunged into crisis, into banditry, into kidnappings in the churches, in the mosque, even down in the oil producing area, which is our economic life wire. Mr. Speaker, we can even declare legislative emergency. Close the house, shut it up. Who are you legislating for? What laws are you making when the country is running in blood? The country is running in blood and tears. You cannot go, the farmers cannot go to farm. Our traders cannot go to market. Worshippers cannot go to mosque, cannot go to churches. Then what are you legislating here?
About the practical approach to mobilizing to curb insecurity. I'll share experience with you when I was state director in Bauchi. Most of you will remember an incident in Azari. A group of terrorists, the Boko Haram, then had invaded Azari. They were shooting in an attempt to kidnap, and the community chased them. They killed some members of the community, but the community members killed all of them. The last guy, Khalid, climbed onto a tree and was firing. The community stood, they were resilient, and they killed Khalid. Since that day, there has not been one terrorist attack in Azari. As a matter of fact, the former head of state, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, said, and I quote, "If we want to stop or curb this terrorism, we should emulate the Azari example." What I'm trying to say, the practical approach to mobilizing people, is that you have to get everyone involved. You do not expect the Nigerian army, police, DSS, to protect every Nigerian or every community. It is not going to work.
And a call for prayer because of the situation, and then we'll agree with you and trust God.
We need your prayers. Because in the Islamic world, especially the Fulani terrorists, they are busy contributing money. Every woman will gather 100,000, and the men will gather to contribute 200,000 each of them. And they have vowed, we are not going to spend our Christmas this year. They say we are going to run with rice at hand because they are ready for jihad. They are mobilizing from the far north. And today, all we need is prayer. This God that is living in heaven with his son at the right hand, nothing will stop him from sparing our soul. Just pray. Your prayer is more than AK-47. It's more than rocket launcher. Let's launch our prayers to heaven. And I am sure God will hear your prayer and cause a difference in the land. Christian must be safe. There's a genocide in Nigeria. Pray for us in Jesus' name.
Let me tell you why I say you are sick. Have you ever heard somebody before he pulls a trigger, he said, "Praise the Lord," and he shoots someone? Or he said, "Thank you, Jesus," and he pulls a trigger? The first people you should call are those in that religion. It's the religious leaders you should call, not pastors. Pastors should speak for the sake of humanity. Why are you calling Papa Adeboye? Is Adeboye an imam? Does terrorism have a Christian nomenclature? What do they shout before they kill people? That's what they shout. Is that a Christian balance? So why are you calling pastors? You carry somebody's picture. I am a pastor. The day somebody said, "Thank you, Jesus," before I pull a trigger, call me. Nobody's doing that. So what is your problem? This is the problem we're having. Should pastors speak? Yes, because of humanity. Are we speaking? Of course we are speaking. You know, to you, everything is social media.
Before we continue watching some of these video clips, let me categorically tell you that Nigeria is standing at the edge of collapse, and the signs are no longer subtle. Once again, Sheikh Gumi is back in the headlines, openly defending armed bandits, boldly equating IPOB with Boko Haram, and astonishingly suggesting that if Nnamdi Kanu ends his agitation, he will personally lobby for his release. And I have this question: is IPOB now responsible for the insecurity in the north as well? Because you are being asked a question about some certain issues of insecurity in the land, in the part of Nigeria that you come from, and you are talking about the IPOB. Is Nnamdi Kanu the reason families can no longer sleep with both eyes closed? Is agitation the same thing as terrorism? I can just say that this is another dangerous distortion of truth. It is very good that a lot of people are, coming out to speak and all of that. But why politicians issue careless statements? Real people are living in fear. Nigerian people are living in fear. Parents in the north are withdrawing their children from schools. State governors are shutting down classrooms, and the generation is being forced into darkness, not by faith, but by failure of leadership. But even more troubling is the silence in places where outrage should be loudest. Some citizens continue to wait for miracles where action is required, prayers where accountability is needed. Faith without courage has become comfort, and comfort has become dangerous. And this is why I have problems with Christianity in Nigeria, because they still haven't woke up to the reality. This same pastor Ezekiel, upon all what he has gone through in the hands of this terror group, is still waiting for God to come down from heaven to help him to get rid of this Islamic jihadist. What a laughable mentality. Nigeria's insecurity should bother everyone, especially when we have one man that appears untouchable in all this chaos, the terrorist sympathizer, Sheikh Gumi. One voice who speaks freely without consequences. One man seems more powerful than the president itself. Before I give my unfiltered analysis, let us first watch what is unfolding, because what you are about to see explains why Nigeria is drifting and why the truth is being buried under politics, fear, and dangerous double standard.
But sometimes one wonders that when these things happen, as much as you say you are pushing to make sure that everybody is safe, everybody is happy, or we have peace, it feels to some people like you're more sympathetic to the perpetrators of this evil than to the victims themselves. Well, how do you respond to that, besides the thing?
I'll respond to that. You see, I'm a medical doctor. You see, when you have an emergency, you're only concerned about stopping the bleeding, not even the fractures and the other things, maintaining the cardiovascular potency. So I'm so much concerned about those people who are injuring people, killing people. Just imagine a madman in a market with a knife who has stabbed many people. So my first aim is to get that knife from that madman, not the people that are injured. I'm not a government, I'm not an authority to say that I can take care of everybody. My concern is that blood should stop flowing. And I've seen it because I've seen it firsthand, and this is the best way we can achieve this. And government have understood that. People have understood that, but I think for political reasons, I don't know why we Nigerians cannot come together and implement it. Some people say we have neglected the victims. We have not neglected the victims. The victims, they have an emergency management agencies that can take care of them. We have state governors, we have everything. They can take care of them. But these people that are outlaw, how do we use psychology? How do we use our knowledge of human sociology and interaction? How can we deviate them from these evils they have fallen into? Because we know them for a very long time, very, very long time. They are not what they are today. So what happened? You see, if you want to cure a disease, you have to go back and see the etiology. What causes the disease? But without diagnosing it, you will just be beating about the bush, and you never get a solution to that. I want to preserve Nigerian unity. I don't want foreign intervention, and I don't want tribes to be fighting. Then also, we don't want religion, the fire of religion to be ignited in Nigeria, because if it's ignited, who can quench it?
Well, Sheikh Gumi, so I'm not sure how long you've been advocating for Nigeria. Perhaps you can remind us how long you have been in this advocacy struggle.
If I wore the uniform to protect Nigeria, I'm a captain in the Nigerian army, and I've been going there. When I go there, I go with Nigerian officials. I don't go alone.
Yeah. So do you think that the situation could have been worse, but for your non-kinetic approach drive?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Look at Abuja-Kaduna Road. Now everybody can fly. You see, that's where we had the train mishap. But now it's free. This is what we object. Our sovereignty is a red line. We can never accept foreigners to come into this Nigeria with whatever excuse it is. Boko Haram, we know already there's an international interest group that is supporting them, giving them intelligence, in fact, giving them live locations, giving them mounted guns, anti-aircraft guns, stronger than our machine guns. We know they are sponsored from outside. So I'm not surprised if they can rout and kill a brigadier. They are supported. So now what we have to identify, who are the supporters internationally, and also the routes from which weapons are given to them. Can you imagine a Hilux Toyota car, so many with them? How can they get it? But when you look at the herdsmen, they don't have such sophisticated weapons, the herdsmen, because they are already surrounded. But those in Sambisa, they have Cameroon. Things can come from Cameroon. People before they are suspecting France, but with the confession of a U.S. congressman that U.S. aid is used to sponsor some of the activities of Boko Haram, everything becomes clear. I don't know why you journalists, you don't really expatiate and go deep and see where confession is there. Boko Haram, we are not just fighting a ragtag army. We are fighting the world, an international world that is so greedy about our resources. Nigeria is a very rich, blessed country. even for a president to call Nigeria disgraced, I think it's part and parcel of the indignation that is trying to show that we are people who are not capable of protecting our nation, that we need a master to come and do it for all, and all that, hiding behind a narrative which is every one of you knows its fault. We are not killing Christians are not killing Muslims. Yes, there are clashes where Muslims and Christians are on the both sides, and there are clashes where Muslims are on different sides. So it's not religious.
That is the argument I would disagree with you on, with the greatest sense of respect. If people have said they are being killed for their faith, I will not sit here and say they are wrong. We may generalize it or may characterize it differently. But I think both of us can agree, all of us can agree to the point of saying military intervention coming in, we know how it ends. It may not actually end well. But when we are unable to secure ourselves and our people are not feeling safe, what option is left for the people in this sense? Now, with what is going on, do you think that we may get to a point where people may resort to self-help, Sheikh Gumi?
I think now there is a really paradigm shift in our defense tactics. We are seeing that, yes, the kinetic approach is 25% and the rest is 75%. The 75% is what we are agitating the government to hasten and do it. Let's put Nigerians together and reconcile between Nigerians so that they stop the animosity of killing each other. All these people killing each other, they are really ignorant people. They are the low-class Nigerians. They are killing each other. So we should do with education we had. We are supposed to use it to separate Nigerians from killing each other. This is what we are supposed to do, and we can do it as Nigerians. Nigerians are the best educated people living in the United States. You go to UK, and everywhere we're educated. Why don't you all come together, put our hands together with the government, and see that we can tackle this problem rather than blowing things out of proportion and giving a narrative that will give a foreigner a chance to come into our beloved country and destroy it.
Just hold on, sir.
Wait, America is never coming to save them. They're just using them to write.
But the Nigerian government is not protecting them enough. And then when you say they are fighting each other, who is fighting? Boko Haram, bandits are killing people. So what do you mean by who is fighting? What is this fighting?
What I'm telling you is Americans, when they come into Nigeria, they will make the situation worse. They're not going to make it any better. They have been anywhere, wherever they are, they make things worse. So Nigeria will not be different. But Nigeria is even more liable that they will make it worse because they want to balkanize Nigeria because of the resources. So even the person you are calling is even important. You see, when you bring a butcher to do a surgery, that is wrong. No matter how sick you are, you won't bring a butcher to say to do a surgery on you.
It does means that for these people that you say you're advocating for Nigeria, but you also try to reintegrate these people into the society. And we hear that some of them have joined the military. You're also calling for issues around education and unemployment. You've singled out those two as perhaps, the reasons why these people always take up arms. But our job here is also to ask you questions that the average Nigerian would like to ask you if they come in contact with you. So let me also ask you this. For the people who are in the correctional centers and prisons, for instance, if they also say, look, I committed so and so crime, I am sorry, are you also advocating that they should be released from the correctional centers?
And if we have criminals that have committed a crime, can we allow them to be pardoned, or what do you exactly know? Is it not just recently the president pardoned some criminals? Are you talking on that passion or what?
No, not just the presidential pardon. Just like you are also advocating that these bandits be reintegrated to the society. So I'm asking as well, for those who we have at the correctional centers or in the correctional centers, if they also say, look, I am sorry, I committed this crime, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I want peace, can they also be reintegrated into the society just the same way you're advocating for the bandits as well?
You see, if there is a communal clashes, it's different from individual criminality. That's why when after the Civil War, atrocities were committed from both sides, and over 2 million people died, and yet the engineers were pardoned, and there was no victor and vanquished because it's communal. But if it's an individual killing an individual now, this law will come in and doctors will take it off. But when communities are fighting, who are you going to judge? So now we're trying to stop bleeding. We want peace in Nigeria, in every area, wherever there is tension. Let's have Nigerians. The clergy, instead of putting fuel on fire, let's go there and see how we can unite the warring faction.
All right, Sheikh.
Rather than coming to a grave and start beating it and crying, everyone, Muslims can show you the graves of people they were massacred, killed too. But we don't do that. So that we have peace on the land.
All right, Sheikh. You know, the argument would be some people say some Christians are more killed in one area than the other. Now, I think we can all agree that we all want peace. Everyone wants peace. But there cannot be peace or justice or healing without justice. And one of those justice has to be the truth. Because you may just be narrating it around communal clash, either farmer crisis. There's an element that certain people they've doubled down to say we're being targeted because of our faith. We cannot discard that just because we want to spin it. So if we want to really solve this problem, Sheikh Gumi, since you're at the forefront, it's important you also agree that there is some form of Christian genocide in parts of the north.
Genocide affecting Muslims and Christians. When you say there's a Christian genocide, and a genocide directed specifically because somebody is professing Christianity, there is none in Nigeria. There is none.
There is, Sheikh Gumi, there is.
As far as I know, there is none.
There is.
So you cannot force somebody
Yes, I will not force you to accept it, but I will not dismiss and silence the voice of those who say that is their reality.
If kidnappers can have POS machine, if kidnappers can have POS machine, you can imagine how the country and where the country is going. So you can see they have POS. Dangwari knows how it's been operated. This one. This is the ransom we collected from Dangwari. He's the leader he's in charge of 4 groups of kidnappers in Gidandogo Forest, in Kuyeri Forest, in Kagaruko Forest. He is in charge. This is part of the ransom we recovered from him. He's in the camp. We saw this uniform. You can see this is a policeman uniform. Is okay. You can see what they have. This is police uniform. It's even maybe we are trying to find out where this policeman is serving. Let us know. Or whatever that happened to him, but this is his uniform.
In the US, if you visit someone in the house, you'll be shocked that when the guy hears a police siren, he will just pull his drawer, bring out his gun and keep it. So one of my hosts did that, and I asked him, why are you putting gun here? He said, well, if they're chasing someone and he enters my house, I shoot him first. And that is the layer we have to start thinking about. How can you create first line of defense? The military, police, and other security agencies are to deal with the bigger ones, the organized ones. But it is impossible for us to deploy it to every community in the country. It is unimaginable that any security agencies has the resources to do it. So as we live here, we all belong to one community or the other. What we have to start experimenting is how we can make the community to prepare first if the first line of defense was. You can imagine you call sector, let's say sector 4 or whatever, sector of the army, to come to this community if there's an attack. Before they even arrive there, they attack another community, what happens? This is what we should take away from here. That security starts from you. There's nothing that is new. 1870 something, I can't remember. The French Revolution, in the street of Paris, they were beheading people. We've had hijack of plane, we'll forget quickly. We've had the wet ear syndrome, we had so many. There's some Matasini and whatever. There will always be security problem. So when people say this is security in Nigeria, as long as human beings exist, there will be security problem. The issue is the response. We have to take that mentality away. What is the security agencies doing? Who, apart from a tree, knows that they want to come and cut him and remain standing? Only a tree. We have to get the communities to rise and defend themselves first. And the time to start it is now. When you move out from here, I do that every day. I come from a village in Ijebu land, Ogun State, and I talk to my people. I know the level of armament they are entitled to. I know how they organize themselves in quarters. We have 4 quarters. I'm using my expertise to guide them. You cannot wait for the military to come and do everything.
The information in our disposal is that they want to attack Oyo, Ekiti, Ondo, and Lagos State.
Oyo, Ekiti, Ondo, and Lagos State. You have a good authority.
Yeah, Ondo, Ekiti, and Lagos State.
They are practically coming for everybody. You see, this country is surrounded. I've been saying this thing since the country is surrounded. The country is surrounded. They are in our midst. They are behind us. They are close to us. They God help us. But I promise you, they are coming for everybody. Nowhere is safe. Don't even think where you are staying now is safe. There's nowhere that is safe. As I speak to you now, there's no place.
mutanen da nake ɗauko mu Fulani daji. Idan na ɗauko musu mun je a hanya inda suke ajewa sun ɗauko, na ɗauko na kawo musu a hanyar daji na sauke musu sun tafi bayan sun tafi.
Baba said he has conveyed these weapons severally along Ifon, Isonlu axis, and that the people he conveys the weapons for are mostly nomadic Fulanis. That his role is simply to take the arms from one point to the other where they need it. That they will come out from the bush, take delivery of the weapons, and continue with whatever purpose they want to use them for.
And I also want to use the opportunity to tell you that my immediate constituency, which is enclave at the southern part of my state, Kano, is also undergoing serious danger, serious danger. This place that used to be an attraction for tourists, it has now become like an extension of the Sambisa forest in Borno State. So we have to definitely do something, Mr. Speaker.
Because as things stand, we're quarreling with each other. Suddenly, Muslims and Christians who died in the hands of these people are now quarreling over who is being killed more. We don't need to do this. Every Nigerian life matters. But we need you to lead us. We need you to assure us. And of all the times that we've ever needed a leader to step up, take up the gauntlet, speak to us, lead the military, lead with all the resources we have. Not because Trump says he will come and invade us, not because Trump is calling us a disgraced country, sir, but because we owe it a duty to ourselves, to protect ourselves. We can't do that unless we show the willingness and the sympathy to help us. Please, President Tinubu, speak to us and act. We don't have the time, all the time in the world, to wait until doomsday is upon us.
Oh my goodness, I must say this. Nigeria today is not a country at peace at all. Where will they strike next? Armed groups roam freely across forests and highways. School children are being pulled out of classrooms. Governors are shutting down schools, not because of floods or strikes, but because education has become a death sentence in some regions, particularly in the north. Life is so horrible that families no longer plan their lives. They calculate survival. And in the middle of this national nightmare, one voice keeps echoing in public space: Sheikh Gumi. A man who should be, calling for justice, now calls for sympathy for armed groups. A man who should comfort victims now appears to excuse the people that take their lives, comparing IPOB to Boko Haram and claiming that if Nnamdi Kanu stops agitation, he himself would lobby for Kanu's release. Even more alarming, Gumi admits publicly that when he meets these armed groups, he goes with government officials. So Nigerians now ask, who exactly is negotiating on our behalf, and what deals are being made in our name? Who authorized this shadow of diplomacy? Now let's talk about the policy, because this is where things get painful. They are now being sold this non-kinetic approach, dialogue, reintegration, and amnesty to these terrorists. When the lives of people have been taken for years, when villages are wiped out, when children are kidnapped in hundreds, when farmers can't even farm or drivers can't even drive. What is the government doing about it? Nothing. You don't lecture citizens about peace without first securing their lives. And that is the basis of Nigerian sovereignty. Because a sovereign nation should be able to protect the lives and property of its citizens. And here came the most heartbreaking admission from the DSS boss, the Director General, that the Nigerian government cannot secure everywhere. That is not honesty. That is surrender. That is leadership failure. Because government exists for one reason, basically, to protect life and property. When a state admits it cannot protect its citizen, sovereignty becomes a lie. It becomes a shadow. So let's not even go there to talk about sovereignty, because its principle is far from Nigerian nation. Government officials insist Nigeria must not invite external military help because of sovereignty. But tell me, what sovereignty exists when a country cannot protect her own people? What independence survives when terror controls highways? What dignity remains when bandits are better armed than the police? Tinubu should wake up. This is a plot against his government. Taking lives are being reframed as conflict. Targeted violence is being softened as misunderstanding. Burning churches and taking lives of worshippers, kidnapping them, is waved off. But what Nigerians are saying is clear. Lives of Nigerian people are not being taken randomly. Communities are not being attacked accidentally. Faith is increasingly becoming identity, and identity is becoming a death sentence in Nigeria. And worst of all is, silence is now survival. People are afraid to speak. Pastors preach miracles instead of demanding safety. Citizens pray, but no one confronts power. Faith has become comfort, not courage. And as long as negotiation replaces justice, sympathy replaces law, and silence replaces outrage, this crisis will not end, and it will never end, not even anytime soon. Because you cannot negotiate with terror groups and expect peace. You cannot excuse violence and expect safety. And you cannot abandon the people and still claim leadership. Nigeria is not broken because of insecurity. Nigeria is bleeding because of weak leadership and escaped responsibilities. So I have this to say. I must sincerely admit that there is a problem in Nigeria. And it is highly unfortunate that people's lives are not being guaranteed. And until leadership values Nigerian lives more than politics, this country will remain under siege. Because as a matter of fact, these politicians are already caring about 2027 re-elections, not even anything more than that. It is shameful and it is heartbreaking to be a Nigerian. Even though Nigeria has not yet collapsed, but she is no longer standing. A country where children fear classrooms, parents fear journeys, farmers fear farms, and citizens fear the night. It is not a nation at rest. It is a nation under siege. And if we continue to pretend this is normal, if we continue to excuse what should, outrage us, if we continue to, pray without demanding accountability, then tomorrow will be worse than today, because insecurity does not grow overnight. It grows when leaders hesitate, when citizens go silent, when the truth becomes inconvenient. No nation survives on slogans. No country is protected by denial, and no society is rescued by silence. Nigeria does not need more speech. She needs courage. She does not need more negotiations with killers. She needs justice for victims. This is not about tribe. This is not about religion. It is about right versus wrong. It is about life versus lawlessness. It is about whether Nigeria will continue as a country or disintegrate into zones. Like I vehemently stated, the question is no longer where will they strike next. The real question now is, how long will we keep pretending this is not a war on the soul of this nation? This is About Perspectives, your domain for unfiltered news and raw political analysis. If you found this analysis insightful, please always do me well to smash the subscribe button, subscribe, and turn on the notification so you would always get notified each time we drop a new video. Thank you for watching, and may Nigeria survive.